The Louisiana Bayou was alive. Ancient cypress trees draped in Spanish moss stood sentinel. Their gnarled branches clawed at the humid air. The air hung heavy, thick with the smell of decay and damp earth. It was an oppressive presence, smothering any sound that dared to rise. This was Earl's domain. He lived in a rickety cabin perched on the edge of the swamp. The silence was his only companion, broken only by the croaking of frogs and the distant cry of a nightbird. Earl didn't mind the solitude. He had Rufus, his faithful hound, by his side. Rufus, with his shaggy coat and soulful eyes, was all the company Earl needed. Lately, however, something had changed. Rufus had become withdrawn, his playful demeanor replaced with a brooding silence. He would often disappear into the swamp for days, returning with matted fur and a strange, almost predatory glint in his eyes. Earl dismissed it as the swamp's influence, a darkness that seeped into everything it touched. Stories had circulated for generations in the nearby town, whispers of a creature that lurked in the swamp's murky depths. They called it the Devil Dog, a beast with glowing red eyes and a blood-curdling howl that chilled men to the bone. Earl never paid them much heed. They were just stories, folklore meant to scare children and keep them away from the swamp's edge. One night Earl awoke to a gut-wrenching howl. It was Rufus, but the sound was different, feral, tinged with an unearthly menace. It sent shivers down Earl's spine, a primal fear he had never felt before. He stumbled out of the cabin and saw Rufus standing over something. It was hard to make out in the darkness, but as Earl approached, he realized with horror that it was the mangled carcass of a deer. Terror, raw and consuming, gripped Earl's heart. This was not his Rufus, his loyal companion. Something evil had taken root in the dog's soul, twisting it into something monstrous. Rufus turned towards him, his eyes blazing with an unholy light. In that instant, Earl knew he had to flee. He had to escape the swamp and the creature that had once been his beloved pet. Earl ran, his heart pounding in his chest, the devil dog's howls echoing behind him. He didn't look back, he didn't dare. He knew that the swamp, once his sanctuary, was now a hunting ground, and he was the prey. The legend of the devil dog would live on, a terrifying reminder of the darkness that lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim its next victim.